In this video, I will summarize our recent interview with Lendermarket, the platform promoting some of the highest interest rates in the industry. If you're thinking about joining Lendermarket or have doubts about the liquidity of Lendermarket's lenders, this video is for you. I'm your host Jakub from P2P Empire, and if you're interested in authentic information about earning passive income by investing in loans, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell to not miss out on future videos. So Lendermarket is a P2P lending platform where you can invest in consumer loans, mainly from its lending partner Creditstar, a big lending group in Europe. By investing in those loans, you can earn up to 17% interest per year. A 17% return on investment sounds like a great way to earn passive income, right? Well, yes, but it does come with certain risks. By investing in loans, you are constantly exposed to the risk that the lending company issuing those loans will not be able to recover them according to the loan repayment schedule. In the best case scenario, your loans get delayed up to 60 days, where the promised buyback guarantee of the lender gets activated and your loans will be repurchased together with the accrued interest. This is something many users are actually worried about. Creditstar's obligation towards investors on platforms like Mintos or Lendermarket is constantly pushed backward, which causes significant delays on both platforms. As we are recording this video on Mintos, for example, out of 42 million loans, 8.3 million has the status pending payment, which means that the money is in the process of being credited to the investor's account. In short, the borrower has repaid the loan, but the lender hasn't paid to investors yet. Let's say you want to check the performance of the listed loans on Lendermarket. In that case, you won't be able to find it as the platform doesn't provide any decent statistics about your assets under management or its portfolio performance. But many active investors report that most loans get delayed up to 60 days and then repurchased by the lender as the buyback guarantee kicks in. This situation limits the liquidity of your investments in Creditstar's loans and sends a clear message about the current cash flow issues, which causes delays. Investors that are still active on Mintos know that cash flow issues can eventually lead to suspensions and loss of capital. While on Lendermarket we haven't seen any suspensions yet, this is a legitimate concern and investors are worried. So I asked the CEO what is going on with the performance of Creditstar loans.
I think this loans getting late on Lendermarket platform in bigger amounts and also the pending payment issue, I think it's unfortunate situation for Creditstar and mainly driven by the surprisingly negative sentiment in capital markets for raising funds for their operations, let's say like that. So they had predicted, so that's my personal opinion, they had predicted certain growth for this year. When they did their plans, they set up their hirings and took up a lot of costs, and they were looking where are they currently getting financing and probably added 10% to every channel and thought that they will get the same financing and the growth goes. But what happened in reality was that although other channels were working quite fine, Lendermarket has been growing since the Ukrainian war, but Mintos has declined significantly. And instead of getting additional 20 million from Mintos, they actually had to pay back 10 million. So you can imagine that this 30 million euros of hole in their financing plan and probably already issuing a lot of those credit facilities that is the main product currently at Creditstar, then they were just late in pulling the brakes. I think they should have pulled the brakes maybe a bit earlier. So yeah, it probably gave them this time that they realized that okay, peer-to-peer is not giving enough of funds, and institutionals are also probably slow in updating their terms, and this is how it happened. So it's a pure cash flow topic where they had just issued too many loans.
So basically, Creditstar assumed to get more funds than realistically achieve, which is also why it followed its rather opportunistic approach to growth and issued more loans than it could afford to. This gives you a good insight into the company's risk management. As a loan originator, you always want to issue more loans, especially as you are expanding. For a lender, issuing a lower amount of loans is not very effective, although sometimes it's the right approach when mitigating the risks. Experienced risk managers know that funding from P2P lending platforms is volatile, so the companies typically have a well-diversified funding system to avoid situations like the one that Creditstar is in. This is something I would expect from a well-established lending group, but in this case, they overcalculated themselves and relied too much on Mintos, which gives you a good impression of the risk appetite followed by Creditstar. The CEO also told me that Creditstar is restructuring the agreement with Mintos and has already slowed down the loan originations to cover the obligation towards investors. To avoid situations like these in the future, a marketplace can agree with the lender to pay a fine on top of the accrued interest for delayed loans. While this would positively impact investors, it would limit the flexibility of the lending company to a certain extent. Apart from concerns about the liquidity, experienced investors were also wondering about the results of Creditstar's audit for 2021 and the auditor's opinion on that. The good news is that Creditstar recently published an audited report for 2021, and the auditor didn't point out any concerns about the company's accounting standards. If you want to hear additional comments from the CEO of Lendermarket about Creditstar's audit, you can watch the entire non-sponsored interview, which is available for all members on buymeacoffee.com/P2P-Empire. One of our community members also asked whether the platform aims to become regulated. During our discussion, the CEO told me that Lendermarket is applying for the European crowdfunding license. The exact details about when Lendermarket will get this license are yet unclear. What the CEO confirmed, however, is that it will not be changing the investment structure as is the case in Latvia, so you will not be investing in notes or asset-backed securities. So being a regulated platform offering high yields without withholding taxes is certainly something that will give Lendermarket the competitive edge over other competitors based in Latvia. Apart from the core topics that investors were curious about, I also used the talk to discuss strategic decisions that Lendermarket has made over the past couple of months, the launch of the secondary market and the development of the statistics page, which would immensely improve the transparency and liquidity of the platform. Members of our project on buymeacoffee.com can watch the answers to all those points, which gives you a good impression of where Lendermarket is heading in the near future. That being said, we will continue monitoring the development of the platform. To be up to date on the latest news, head over to our news section or visit our in-depth review of Lendermarket on p2pempower.com, where you will also find a 1% cashback bonus. If you like this type of format and you would like to see more interactions with CEOs and founders of P2P lending platforms, hit the like button. Also, let me know your experience with Lendermarket in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.